Hello and welcome to Voices of BlueScope, the podcast where we meet the people who work behind the scenes at BlueScope to create strength every day. I'm your host, Martin Feld. Thank you for listening. In this episode, we meet two people who are based at NS BlueScope in Thailand. Petcharat Wongkamonrat, Vice President, Health, Safety and Environment, and Stephen O'Connor, Vice President, Finance and Sales. Both Stephen and Petcharat, or Petch for short, have been intimately involved with the organisation and promotion of various community programs there, spanning causes in health, education, construction and career development. They kindly agreed to an interview together for the podcast so that we could learn more about NS BlueScope's efforts in Thailand. Let's go to that conversation now.
I am the Chief Financial Officer for NS BlueScope Thailand and Myanmar, having full responsibility for the finance functions in these countries. And more recently, I've taken on our Vice President Sales role, which enables me to influence the sales strategy of the organisation and also takes me closer to our customers and the communities in which we operate.
My name is Petcharat Wongkamonrat. Yes, I'm work with NS BlueScope Thailand 14 years since 2007. I'm currently working for health, safety and environment part, especially for sustainability in terms of environment. And I also look after for community relation. And I think for BlueScope, we are very good and very great for in terms of community relation and sustainability. And we have a lot of strategy to make sure that we are fit and operation reflect on sustainability strategy.
NS BlueScope Thailand, in terms of its fit into the global organisation, it sits within the NS BlueScope joint venture, which is a 50-50 joint venture between BlueScope Steel Australia and Nippon Steel Corporation from Japan. That sits within the BlueScope Building Products reporting segment, which then consolidates back into BlueScope Group.
Fantastic. To my observation, over the course of this pandemic, we've seen a lot of different posts and interesting stories coming out of NS BlueScope Thailand. Lots of different community initiatives, sustainability objectives. Really, you haven't stopped. A lot of stuff has been happening. So, Petch, would you be able to speak to some of the sustainability objectives within NS BlueScope Thailand and some of the things that you've been doing in this time?
For the sustainability part, is a key one for the BlueScope, right? And company have is very clear and announced in terms of commitment for BlueScope purpose and our bond and strategy. In our bond, we very clear mention we have some statement for our community are our home. This is the key one because when the home is more meaning, right? And when we think about the home, when think about how we can improve or what you want to see your home and surrounding area, this is the one that we're trying to explore more in terms of plan and execution for BlueScope Thailand. And BlueScope Thailand, we're trying to alignment with the corporate strategy and ensure we are creating a strong local community and reflect our purpose. And just not only do only BlueScope, but we trying to join with our stakeholder. That means for customer to make sure that we show about the sustainability direction. For Thailand, we have the like a company community framework, but it's maybe too difficult for Thailand employee to understand because it seems like a lot of structure. And we redesign again to a new theme. We call V program, W and E, V. W is stand for work together with community. This is the key one because when we operating or produce quality of product, we need to show that we care our community. Example one for operation, we need to make sure that we know any environmental impact to affect to community surrounding operation plant and support local community. And second one for E stand for employee engagement because we want our employee to make influence the idea to our project. Example, we ask our employee what they want to do and how we should do for our communities. And we have planned to do the functional community program. That means all each function, they have the idea to input what they want to do, serve or support community. And this one is very good thing because we want to do or create the bottom up rather than top down for community stronger strategy.
I really liked what you said there about it being bottom up and not top down. So connecting to community projects, maybe you can say something about this, Stephen. What are some of the different community projects that have been launched and achieved recently at NS BlueScope in Thailand off the back of this set of sustainability objectives and this WE framework?
Thanks, Martin. Well, the WE framework, as Petch put it, is essentially our local take and our local ownership on our community objectives. That links up to the corporate framework that's been discussed on previous podcasts. And what the WE framework does is allows us to roll that out in country. And the beauty of it is the ideas that I'm just about to describe or and the programs that we've just been involved in. These are leads that have been generated by our employees. This is not management-generated leads. This is showing that the increased levels of engagement around community, the ownership, and people's willingness to be involved and give a little back is dramatically increasing year on year. Some examples of that, just to give you some feeling of the things that we do. Within the global framework for BlueScope, there are 6 categories of community investment. One of the key pieces of that relates to community buildings. And in addition to that, shelter in the forms of emergency housing, affordable housing, etc. Being a roof and wall provider in Thailand, it's an obvious place for BlueScope to contribute to the community by providing shelter through affordable housing in conjunction with our partner Habitat for Humanity, which is a regional partner for our community objectives. And also in Thailand, Buddhism is the prominent religion and is a very strong part of the Thai community and a very strong part of the Thai population lives. So one of the areas that we focused on giving back is around the temples. That's enabled us to really connect strongly with the community. Petch has a couple of examples that she'll be able to describe around the temples.
Thank you. As you know, that Thailand is a country of temples and more than 33,000 temples in Thailand. We should come as no surprise because the Thailand population, around 95% is Buddhist. That's the reason why we have a lot of temples in Thailand. And the temple are the big gathering place for do the Buddhist activity. Just not only Buddhist, but for community center as well. And we have opportunity to donate our metal sheet, our material to the temple in south and east of Thailand. And the first one is in south of Thailand for Wat Ban Sa. This one is the small temple and far away from Bangkok. And we support for living for multi-purpose building. And another project that very close with our operation area, we call Wat Tri Ratanaram. This is the one temple to all in Rayong. It's very close with our operation site. And we donate for living for them, for replacing multi-purpose building where the praying and do Buddhist activity. And I can say that is very good feedback from local communities for this part.
The community buildings section is obviously a very, as you said, appropriate thing because it's tangibly using your products. That makes a lot of sense. Has that been difficult within the COVID-19 pandemic to deploy these different products and get out to construction sites or donate things? What can one of you say about that?
It's a good point, Martin. And, COVID is impacting us in different ways at different stages over the past year. How BlueScope operates in Thailand is not only in the production of metal sheet, but we also have other businesses under the BlueScope family in Thailand that have construction facilities and an ability to erect buildings all over the country. So we have BlueScope Lysat, which is one of our main businesses that has been successful in providing this metal product to temples. But we also leverage our BlueScope authorized dealer network, of which we have 70 across the country. These are BlueScope branded shops that can act on our behalf and be our agents in the community. So they are actually helping us roll out our CSR objectives in the local provinces across the entire country.
Wow. That's quite a network of which I personally wasn't aware. And then on top of those initiatives that you've done during the COVID-19 pandemic, I understand that in Thailand you've also been very much involved in particular health initiatives. What can you say about that?
Yeah, well, our health initiatives have been focused and centred largely around COVID, as have many economies and countries over the past 12 months or so. Our contribution to help from a health perspective has been the provision of testing stations and vaccination stations for hospitals and other community groups to help them in their identification and management of COVID-19. An example of that is in Myanmar is we developed a roadside drive-in COVID testing station where people could be tested from the comfort of their own car by simply driving in and being swabbed and then continuing on in their journey. Other examples in Thailand are that we've developed some more modular style screening stations and provided them to hospitals, leveraging our RAM-build product and unique design technologies. And we've also extended that to work with our customers. We have a large customer network in Thailand, and many of those customers have been looking for BlueScope's support or co-sponsorship in providing mobile testing stations and mobile driving vaccination units that can help us get more coverage and more reach across the country. In addition to providing our own materials, we've also provided a large amount of PPE, safety masks, glasses, alcohol, hand sanitizer, most of which we can buy for our own operations, but we can then share that with the local communities around our operations in particular.
In addition to health, I understand that you've also been very much involved in a number of educational programs. Namely, there's the BlueScope Training Centre and the, now I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Klong Tui Duang Prateep Foundation. I've probably butchered that and I apologise, but I had to have a go. What can you tell us about some of the educational programs that BlueScope has been involved in Thailand? Because they really, from my observation online with some of the stories that you've shared, have really tapped into communities and people in the grassroots.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, education, and in particular, educating the communities in which we operate has been a very long part of BlueScope Thailand, and it's a core part of our heritage in Thailand. We've been in this country for 30 years, and it's part of our commitment and obligation to educate and upskill the communities in which we operate. A key part of that has been the BlueScope Training Centre, as you touched on. The BlueScope Training Centre is an on-site facility located at our manufacturing plant, where we have set up various scenarios or role-play situations where construction workers or fixers in the community can come to our facility and learn and understand the consequences of safe or unsafe actions in their jobs, in their daily lives, through a controlled and safe environment. We also not only focus on the safety, but we use it on the skilling part as well. We actually bring in many sort of school leavers, etc., who naturally move into construction industries, and we actually start to teach them the basics of construction, how to cut metal sheet, how to install correctly. So there's both a skill and a safety educational objective from the BlueScope Training Centre. And Petch has a couple of things that she would add to that as well.
For BlueScope Training Center, we still we trying to arrange course for students in the technical college and who studying in major construction to make them clearly understand what they have to work in the future. Just not only for concrete or foundation, but metal sheet is still the one thing that they need to facing in the future, right? And just not only for the technical college, we have a good chance. This one is natural skill development from Thailand contact us to arrange training for the prisons in jails. Yeah, and for this one is can make that the person build their career and make them strong for back to community. I think this is the one thing, and just not only one jail, but this one done it by anyone.
And Martin, the second point you touched on was the Klong Toi Duang Pratik Foundation. I think you covered it relatively well, but not. That's a real.
Actually, could I hear it pronounced fully by Petch?
Petch, yeah, Petch.
Yeah, Petch, you are the authority here. How would you pronounce it before Stephen continues?
Klong Toi Duang Pratik Foundation.
Perfect.
Klong Toi Duang Pratik. Yes.
I'll have to practice.
So this initiative with the Klong Toi Duang Pratik Foundation was a great example of our community partners coming into action. So this initiative we actually put in place in conjunction with the Australian Chamber of Commerce, who also play a very active role in providing community services and community projects to the Thai community on behalf of Australian corporates, such as BlueScope. In addition to the Australian Chamber, we also worked with the Thailand Tigers Australian Rules football team, which is a small amateur football group based in Bangkok with a mixture of Australian expats and a number of local Thais who share the love for AFL. In conjunction with those two groups in BlueScope, we welcomed 10 teenagers who were in their final year of government-funded education. We welcomed them to BlueScope Thailand because we wanted to share with them more about what life looks like after school. And we also wanted to inspire them to continue with their education and inspire them to think about their future. We were able to do that by giving them some examples of the types of jobs and the types of roles that you could potentially do in the future working in a multinational like BlueScope. We asked employees from various departments, various backgrounds, various ages, and a real diverse mix of employees across our company to come and tell their life stories to these young teenagers about where they've come from and how they ended up working for BlueScope. Our objective there was to really motivate and inspire these teenagers to continue in their education, invest in themselves and provide the best possible future for their families.
And what was that like, both of you, having people from the community, these students come in? You got to engage with them personally in this initiative?
Yeah, we did. Both Petch and I engaged with them personally, and Petch and I were the core contacts for the group throughout the day. And it's a really heartwarming experience to have these kids who do come from a very underprivileged background. I think we didn't touch on it at the beginning, but Klong Toi is a very low-income, underprivileged housing community based in central Bangkok. To have these children visit us and walk into a BlueScope factory, walk into a BlueScope office was a significantly different experience for them. So as scared as they were, we were also scared just in terms of how they would react. But as the day progressed and people became more comfortable, it was a really, truly rewarding experience just to be able to share and just to be able to try and provide some guidance to these young teenagers on the importance of education and how that can then translate to a better future for themselves and for their families.
I want to say thank you for Steve, because Steve is the key person to contact Klong Toi Duang Pratik Foundation. To be honest, to say it, for this program during I attend this session, it really touched my heart. And I'm here because we saw underprivileged children is come to here, and we have a lot of things in terms of this. So I can say two different between us and that children. And I hope that after they come and get more inspiration for us, maybe they can explore more and think about their career in the future. Yes.
I mean, the lovely thing about that initiative is that, who knows, maybe one day one of these 10 teenagers could be a future BlueScope Thailand employee. And if that were to occur, that would bring both Petch and I great joy. and make us both very proud.
That's absolutely wonderful. And it speaks to that point in our bond about our communities are our homes. It's that connection with the people we, share spaces with, and a very long-term vision, I think, which is great. So to round out all of these community initiatives, there were two particular ones that came to my attention that I'd love to know a little bit more about. Starting with you, Petch, I understand that BlueScope in Thailand had a very interesting collaboration on International Women's Day. Tell us the story of how you went into a women's prison.
Yes, for International Women's Day, actually we have the program for internal that I can say engagement employee to do the activity by internal, like a photo contest. But for the external, that means community, we reaching out to our community. We organize a donation of some essential female needs. Example, for female suit, mother item or baby items. And then we go to the Rayong Female Correction Center to donation. This program is a more engagement from our employee. They trying to donate the item that I mentioned before. And we have opportunity to visit inside the Female Correction Center and visit for their facility. Has been provide practical training and integrated farming to prepare the re-entry of the inmate back to the community. For this one, actually due to COVID-19 situation, we cannot meet direct with the inmate, but we just only facing with the officer in there, and we can observe their work at here because they have some shop like a bakery shop in there for do the bakery, and our employee who join this activity they purchase or buy cake back to their home. And I think this one is very good in terms of build their career. It does not only keep them in the jail, but they trying to ensure that when we go out from the jail and they can have the good career in the future.
So it's about reintegrating and rehabilitating. That's a great thing. And the last example that I wanted to touch on, turning back to you, Stephen, you had a very interesting, I don't know if you would say campaign, but you promoted awareness of a certain mental institute in Thailand. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, thank you, Martin. And this one's a little bit close to home, but in January 2021, the BlueScope Thailand business lost a dear friend through mental health. And as a result of that, we wanted to raise the awareness locally amongst the employee base, but also share that awareness with the community. There's various types of mental health that can impact people, whether that be stress, depression, anxiety, etc. And we wanted to work with one of the leading psychiatric units in Bangkok, which was the Somdet Chao Phraya Institute of Psychiatry, which was actually the first psychiatric hospital ever founded in Thailand. We wanted to work with this institute to learn from them on ways in which we can increase and build better awareness of mental health and disorders back in the workplace. During this COVID pandemic, I think the awareness of mental health problems increases. I think certainly both locally in Thailand, but also globally, I think that applies equally. So we wanted to leverage the skill set at Somdet Chao Phraya and bring some learnings back into the workplace to share that with our employees, many of whom have been working from home under lockdown restrictions for a number of months. But we also wanted to remember a good friend that we lost and remember his passion, his drive, and his willingness to push the boundaries as well.
And that's a great story. And it's something that, as I think you articulated very well, has touched a lot of people around the world. It has been a very difficult period recently, and mental health issues and risks related to that, they come in many, many different forms. It is important to see how people are feeling. With all of that in mind, I just want to thank both of you, Stephen and Petcharat, for all of your time today and sharing these stories with us. There's a lot there that I don't think people necessarily would have been aware of, and some really, really positive outcomes for various communities and stakeholders throughout Thailand. Thank you so much for your time, both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.
We hope that you enjoyed hearing from Petch and Stephen about their community engagement work at NS BlueScope in Thailand. We thank them for their time, while also acknowledging the numerous other BlueScope people who made these community projects possible. make sure to visit the show notes to learn more about some of the topics and programs that were mentioned. For other news and updates, go to bluescope.com, visit BlueScope on LinkedIn, or follow @BlueScope on Twitter. Thank you for listening to the Voices of BlueScope podcast. We hope to have you again soon.